You are listening to I Am Refocused Radio with your host, Shamaya Reed. This show is designed to inspire you to live your purpose and regain your focus. And now, here's your host, Shamaya Reed.
Hey, welcome to I Am Refocused Radio. We are here once again. Today, man, we have another show lined up for y'all. We're going to talk to our special guest. She is a spiritual holistic teacher. Her name is Jewana White. And man, today's topic, we want to talk about ignite your light. First and foremost, I want to welcome Jewanna to the show. You are the owner, founder of YouFactorWellness.com. First and foremost, how are you doing today?
I'm doing great. I'm great to be here. How are you?
All is well. And thanks for taking time being on for the show today. Man,
thank you.
Take us back. Tell us a little backstory, because you got into like nursing and stuff at the age of 19. What inspired you to take this career path?
Growing up, I guess I was, what I would say was taught to take care of other people. And so it became an innate ability for me to just make sure people are okay, you know? So I actually watched my mother start that path as well, of just taking care of other people and also in nursing. So that's probably what sparked it, is watching my superhero always taking care of other people.
Now, that's awesome. So your mom played an early part in you making a decision what you wanted to do. When you got older, going through school, at what point did you make a decision like, okay, this is something I'm going to plan on actually doing and take a actual career path and do it professionally?
So in school, I guess it had to be my junior year, because my junior year in high school, they told me that I only needed 2 more classes to graduate. So I decided at that point, well, next year I'll come to night school and I'll go to school to start working. And that's when I went to MATS, Medical Aid Training School, and learned phlebotomy, EKG, and started doing private duty nursing, where I would sit with clients on my weekends, making about $500 a weekend, just to sit with somebody all day in the hospital to make sure that they were okay. And I did that my senior year of high school.
Oh, that's cool. So you already on the grind, like you really taking it serious and saying, okay, I'm going to do this. So did you have any mentors outside your mom, people that inspired you? Did you have any like professional mentors that kind of took you underneath their wing and show you the ropes?
Well, what actually happened to me was, I guess at that time, I didn't realize it was a passion and a dream, and life kind of happened. I got into a car accident and I couldn't complete school, and I wound up getting a job, and I became a conductor for Long Island Railroad, which is our mass transit system here in New York. And I did that for 23 years. And now I'm aligning with my true path.
And when you came across the opportunity to start YouFactorWellness.com, was that before, during, or after when you got your bachelor's degree and associate's degree? Because real quick for the audience, you got your bachelor's in biblical studies and you got your associate's in massage therapy, and you're currently acquiring your master's in Chinese medicine with focus in acupuncture. Did your business or your passion for your brand, did that take off during going to school, or did it happen afterwards?
Yeah. I think every portion of schooling started with me and taking a deeper dive into everything. I'm a passionate person. So the biblical degree was, okay, you tell me that God is the one who saves me and gets me out of despair. I'm going to learn him the best way I could. And that's what I began to do. And that's what started my biblical degree. But it also started the journey for me, which was factoring myself in. I could be no good for everyone else if I wasn't any good for myself.
Sure.
So that's where that truly began. And it did start with that biblical degree.
When you are working with clients now, what is the process like when they approach you and ask questions? on day zero, I guess, before you start on day one, when you're just kind of making sure that they're a good fit for your services and you're a good fit for what their needs are. What's the process look like when you are trying to figure out, okay, what are their needs? Because everyone's unique. Everyone has a specific need that they need to have someone pay attention to.
Well, I would say the key thing is knowing yourself. And what I do is guide my clients to know yourself, because when you align with you, then your needs will always be met.
With your day job that you had, did you practice with some of them? Did you practice with friends?
Oh yeah. I when this process started for me, I started what I called a group called Stages, which was Success Takes Action and Growth with Empowering Steps. And what it was a group of women that I invited to my house. That's how it started. And then we started doing events and so forth like that with wine and chats, where we were just able to release what we were going through and connect to the things that we enjoyed as mothers, wives, and things like that, because sometimes we lose focus of that. I have been practicing connecting with myself over a decade before I started U Factor Wellness.
So being an entrepreneur, when you look at what you've been able to accomplish so far, what was the learning process? Because of course you're talented and you're good at what you do, but you also had to put yourself out there. You had to wear all these multiple hats. What was your experience like just being your own boss and at the same time taking care of your clients?
That's that balancing act. And just, again, it all comes back to yourself and just not letting the ego come up and say, you need to, you should do this, or you just accepting where you are, even with your clients, because it's a healing process for us all. So just allowing that space for them and allowing it for yourself, and just know it's just a balancing act, and we're all doing the best we can. And that is what kind of keeps me going, because it's not always easy. It's simple, but it's just not easy all the time. And when that dis-ease comes, just bring it back to yourself and say, you're doing this for the greater good.
Didn't know I was going to get a demo session on the interview. But when, by the way, listen to I'm Refocused Radio, talking to our guest, Jewana White. You can go to her website, ufactorwellness.com. And I like all that. So that ties into today's subject of what we're going to be talking about in the interview, about ignite your light. For the audience, you kind of, throughout the whole interview already, you're kind of hitting the same core, kind of like know thyself type of thing. But you're really pushing the focal point of aligning with yourself and paying attention to the inner part of you, of us. For the audience, for them to understand, who may not be as aware, what is that process like? How do you even start to even do that, practice that, and, be educated on that?
Number one would just be open. I would say be open for information and not be at a place where you're judging. And that's a hard thing when we're trained to kind of judge. So to open your mind to things that you may hear or that may not serve you at that time, sometimes come around and they're there for you. So that's the one thing, is just knowing that everything's there for you. It's not there to hurt you.
And how difficult is it to work with a client who may not be that great at doing that? Maybe they have a lot of baggage and they just seem to have a hard time becoming open.
And that's where the process really begins with connecting, because it's what do you want to open yourself up to? A lot of things we stay close to, and it shows up in our bodies. That's that dis-ease, when we're not releasing the energy to move and freely flow. So when we stay closed and don't open ourselves, it shows up in our bodies. It shows up in our lives with friction, with dis-ease. So any type of dis-ease is showing you that you're kind of closed up somewhere. So I first connect them with their body because that's where we feel it and understand it the most. And once a person connects the pain that they're going through, they begin to open up.
And you have multiple services that you offer. For the audience, kind of go through some of the services that you make available.
I am a licensed massage therapist, so I do massages and things like that. Most of my work that I started doing mostly during COVID was the energy part of it. And that's like reiki energy. I'm just moving the energy. And that's what acupuncture really is stuck energy that needs to be moved throughout the body. As I look back, when I started ministry, my ministry was deliverance ministry, and we called it demons and rebuking the demons. But at that time, it was it's moving energy that's stuck in the body that holds us down and that prevents us from moving forward and freely. So what I do is facilitate a client to help them move that energy, because I can't move it by myself. They have to be a willing party.
They have to be willing to step up. When you see a client and they catch on and things start to really improve, what are some of the similar feedback that you receive from clients once they really start seeing the value of what you've been teaching them?
I'll give a client the other day got up and said, I want to live. Sometimes people don't realize the self-talk that we talk ourselves through day to day, but just to hear them say, I want to live, I want to do better, or that's opening up. And that is the greatest feedback that I get.
And that's tying perfectly with the topic for today, Ignite Your Light. You are helping people do just that. And it's just thinking about what you said earlier in the show, how this was always like a passion. Your mom inspired you. You had these opportunities. You were already on the grind, junior and senior in high school. You went to get your bachelor's in biblical studies. You touched on that. You got your associate's degree in massage therapy. You touched on that. But man, right now you are currently working on your master's in Chinese medicine with the focus of acupuncture. What would that do for your business once you are complete with that opportunity?
Well, with that, so massage allows just the surface to begin the healing process. But as we go deeper with acupuncture and with the herbal medicines, now I'm able to move the energy and understand the chemistry of what the body is really going through to bring forth a healing process for my clients. I can go deeper. That's what it's allowing me. It's allowing me to touch internal as well as external.
What keeps you focused on doing everything that you teach your clients? How do you keep yourself consistent to be able to practice what you teach?
One is surrounding myself by like-minded people. I surround myself with groups and studies and things like that. Women's Prosperity Network, just like-minded women that can boost me when things do get a little dis-ease. So
right.
Just having that core and setting up a team around you is really, I find, very important to have when things get a little out of balance.
And I like that. So when you find yourself getting to that point, do you just stop what you're doing and start reflecting, or you just immediately start practicing some of the techniques that you use with your clients? How does that look like when you find yourself, okay, everything's going good, and then one day comes, boom, life happens, and you're at that point where you have to make that decision, it's get rebalanced?
So I'm actually there right now. Thanksgiving brings a different frequency sometimes. And yeah, sometimes it's not always easy to practice what you preach, but allowing yourself grace and honor when you're going through things and knowing it's okay to be angry. It's okay to be upset, but do it with love from yourself first. And then whoever the outer person may be, put light around them, because what you're spewing out right now is just emotional and it's just your feelings. That's not just your feelings, but it can hurt someone. That toxic frequency can hurt someone. So putting light around them and allowing yourself the grace to release that, but coming back in. And I do that through meditation daily. I do that through reading daily. I do that through breathing, sometimes coming in, taking 5 deep breaths, just bringing the light in. Those kind of things are practices that help me on a daily basis. Journaling, they could go to my website, get a free download for journals, meditations I have on there that just bring you, just raise your frequency, because there are things that's going to come to knock that down or bring it low. And I have a saying that says you vibe up or you vibe out. And sometimes when things are vibing out, it hurts. But it's just understanding that pain and doing things that could vibe you up when those things are vibing out.
That's good, man. There's a saying by Ralph Waldo Emerson. He said, for every minute you're angry, you lose 60 seconds of happiness. So what you just illustrate for the audience, it made me think of that quote immediately, because I think that is like a basic tool that we can apply right now. Like right before we go to your website, we can literally be like, you know what? Yeah. Because what I'm hearing is like, whatever happens or whatever you're going through, there's something bigger than that.
That's it.
Because at the moment, of course, you're frustrated. We're human beings. We all go through it, whether it's, work or your business or whatever. You just wait and life will happen. You just wait till you turn that bend in the road. It's going to be something wait for you to test you and see if you really are going to persevere and push yourself.
Are you evolving? That's what's happening to us.
Let's touch on that. You just hit something real good right there. Let's touch on that. When you say evolving, explain that more to the audience, because I think some people just kind of go through the motions and they may not understand why they're not evolving until someone like you on the outside can kind of put them in check and say, hey, have you considered this?
It says knowing others is intelligence, but knowing yourself is true wisdom. And when you don't take a look at yourself and say, okay, I'm not moving. My life has been this way year after year after year. They say that's insanity. So to not be able to look at yourself and take a self-awareness perspective of where you are is insane. And that's just bringing awareness to what's going on. Everything in life is movement. And without movement, you don't flourish. Yeah. So there has to be some form of movement. And that's what I like to bring to my clients, because even with your health, they say exercise 10 minutes a day. It's just to get that blood moving. It's just to get everything in that body moving and working in harmony for the greater good of you. So you should always be in movement.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not trying to drop more metaphors, but it makes me think of like construction. For a temporary season, right? It's very inconvenient. It's annoying. Makes traffic slow, whatever, excuses of losing your happiness or whatever. But when it's all said and done, whatever was going under construction, it looks good. It's nice. It adds value.
That's it. It adds value. I love that.
And I feel like we get frustrated too soon. But the problem is not us being frustrated, like your point earlier. It's the fact that we stay there.
Right.
It's like, oh, I'm letting this construction in my life, metaphorically, ruin my emotion for everything.
That's it.
Versus like what you're saying. Can you say that again about, you said vibe out or vibe up? Is that
Right.
correct?
You either vibe up or vibe out. So what's usually happening is that pain that's coming in is it's actually growing us up.
Mm,
So you gotta vibe up.
that's good. Man, you
That's
preaching
what's
right now.
happening.
I like that. No, I really
It-
like that because it's so simple, but I think it's so easy to forget. It,
exactly. Exactly. And when you're going through it, that's why you need people that are on that same frequency as you normally are to bring you out of it, because sometimes you can't see right before you when the wind is blowing up. So it's just a matter of having people that can pull you up when you can't pull yourself up.
man, this is so good. I'm gonna have to listen to it again. Listen, I'm Refocus Radio, talking to our guest, Jewana White. She is a spiritual, holistic teacher. We're talking about Ignite Your Light. Go to her website, youfactorwellness.com. Man, time flies by. When you are looking at today's world and just all the things that are being, maximized as far as like distractions and people having temper flares and all the negative things that are happening. Why is it so important for someone to get in contact with you so that you can help them navigate through those things?
Because those feelings, those emotions are inevitable. That's what we are created for, is to navigate through them. So being able to do that the best way possible, to be the most powerful and to be the most healthy person you can be, you do need someone to help guide you through those processes. When you work with me, that's what I do, in a healthy way to heal you, not a cookie cutter way. Like when you go to the doctor, we work with what you need to create happiness for you.
Man, that's some good stuff. Once again, Jewana White, guest on Army Focus Radio. You can go visit her website, youfactorwellness.com. Before we let you go, what's a call to action that you want our audience to take, whether it's to book a call to maybe go over, a screening, make sure they're a good fit for you, or if you have any additional resources on your website that they can check out?
There's they could go to the website, and one way to start with me would be take a frequency quiz. Let's see how you vibing on a normal basis, and we could sit down and just go over some ways to vibe out those things that's causing disease. Another way is if you just need some focus and grounding, there's meditations on the website, but you could contact me through the website, youfactorwellness.com, and we'll link from there.
I think the key that stuck with me throughout this whole conversation, what you said earlier, you either vibe out or you vibe up. I love that. I mean, because I visually can see that. It makes total sense. Because it takes less energy. You can correct me if I'm wrong. I'm just saying this from the outside.
Mm-hmm.
It takes less energy to vibe up. It takes more energy to vibe out.
Exactly. Exactly.
You
got it.
I think when you're so used to being stuck, it's not just that you become comfortable, but it's like your point earlier. It's a lack of knowledge. You're not expanding yourself. If you're not expanding yourself, what you don't know, you don't know.
That's it. That's it.
Well, once again, we probably talk for another 30 minutes, but I want to say thanks for not just being on the show, but giving our audience a lot of amazing knowledge and value. And man, I can't wait for you to get your master's in Chinese medicine, focus in acupuncture, so you can apply that for your services, and maybe we'll have an update in the future of what's going on in your business.
I would hope so. I had a great time.
Once again, I want to say thank you for taking time talking to Army Focus Radio today.
Thank you.